And Canada is not alone. Time and again, several countries have had to do the same. From Australia, where mass graves of Aborigines were discovered in 2014, to the United States, where the remains of Black Americans were unearthed in 2020, and to Ireland, where just this year, the Prime Minister acknowledged the massacre of thousands of children at church-run homes. Far too many countries, for far too many times, have had to confront the horrors of their shameful past. Here's a report.
Tokyo, 20,000 feet below.
Men were straining like greyhounds to be in among the enemy with a real attack. Managers have endured this agony.
No country is immune to violence. History books are filled with incidents of mass murder, racial cleansing, and religious persecution. And sooner or later, countries have to come face to face with their grim past. In Spain, there's a vast complex near Madrid,
in the fighting in Spanish Morocco in the early
where 33,000 victims of the Spanish Civil War are buried. It's called the Valley of the Fallen.
in the aerial bombardment of undefended cities.
It contains mass graves of opponents of Spain's fascist dictator, Francisco Franco. Franco ruled Spain from 1939 to 1975. And in this period, he moved the remains of thousands of those he executed to the valley without informing their families. The graves remained out of reach of the families for decades. Until 2018, when Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez made the rehabilitation of these victims a priority.
These are the Wangarees.
In 2014, 3 unmarked mass burial sites were uncovered in Australia's Fraser Island. The graves belonged to 100 indigenous people who had died at the site in 1897. Their deaths were a result of the Bogimba Creek mission, a racial segregation program which ran from 1897 to 1904. This mission was a jail without bars. Hundreds of Aborigines who lived on land where the colonizers wanted to run sheep and cattle were rounded up and sent to the Fraser Island. They were forced to live in appalling conditions with minimal resources. Many died of malnutrition and disease. Today, a monument stands at the burial sites in honor of the victims. But Aborigines still remain the most disadvantaged Australians. In October 2020, a mass grave was uncovered at the Oaklawn Cemetery in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The site contained 12 wooden coffins and as many as 18 bodies. It is located just blocks away from the all-black community of Greenwood, where 300 Black Americans were killed in the racial massacre of 1921. Earlier this month, Joe Biden became the first sitting US president to visit a memorial in honor of the victims.
For much too long, the history of what took place here was told in silence, cloaked in darkness. But just because history is silent, it doesn't mean that it did not take place.
I will participate in a meeting of the members of the...
In January this year, Irish Prime Minister Michael Martin issued a formal apology for the treatment of unmarried women and their babies at state and church-run care homes. The apology came after a 6-year-long inquiry concluded that 9,000 children had died at these care homes.
Each of you is blameless. Each of you did nothing wrong and has nothing to be ashamed of. Each of you deserved so much better.
They operated as recently as 1998, but there are no burial records of those who died. The Irish government is now planning to excavate several sites across their territory to give closure to the families. The grim reality of mass graves isn't confined to one time period or one geographical location. They remain scattered across the world. serving as a reminder of the shameful past of their respective countries. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.